The Raiders are now 5-7. Do you think they've turned it around?
I thought they're 5-8.
No, 5-7.
5-7.
They have a statistical chance to make the playoffs for real.
Well, they play the Rams on Thursday night.
It's so their next 5 opponents. It is Rams. It is at Rams versus New England, at Pittsburgh, home versus San Francisco, and home versus the Chiefs.
I could so see them making the playoffs. I can't even lie.
It's not a tough schedule.
I called Josh McDaniels out and the whole Raiders.
I think I have a quick
they
answer. I think they have turned it around.
I think when Derek Carr and Devontae Adams came out and said, I think players need to buy in, I think that's when it changed everything. I think it changed my whole perspective of the whole situation.
There's a couple trip ups in there though. I think going to Pittsburgh in late December sucks for a team from coming out west. That sucks. No, I know the talent
Shocker.
Dude,
Coming from you.
I would say that with any team.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
You're such a liar.
No. Why? How is that not true? They have to play the Niners still. They have to play the Chiefs again.
I know.
Those are 3 of their 5 games.
And yet you still had to bring up the Steelers.
Because it's a trap. That's the biggest trap game.
I understand the trap game
so
logic.
don't try that.
It's a night game, too. That's kind of fucked.
Oh, it's a night game?
It's a night game.
Then it just makes it even better.
Yeah, it's prime
you
time.
probably thought the Dolphins would shit on the Steelers, and they made it a game. That's just what happens. It's just what happens. And I think they could trip up in that one. I don't know. At prime time, Tom,
do the Raiders beat either the Niners or the Chiefs?
They could beat the Chiefs because they could rest people if they have a spot locked up, but I think they won't have that one spot.
I don't think they do it against a division team, personally. Maybe, I don't know. Actually.
Maybe. They did against the Chargers 2 years ago.
Okay, so then.
The Chiefs did. And I don't think they'll beat the Niners because I think they'll have to be probably playing for a seed. And they probably want to see more out of Purdy. And are they at New England?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that's another
That's
trap
been the
one.
Raiders' problem all year, too, to your point. Like, whenever they play a really good defense, it's not the same offense that we see when we're like, oh, it's the fireworks. Like, whenever they play a good defense, it's like it's like back to square one again. So, like, that's the biggest hump they need to get over.
Doesn't Bill Belichick just absolutely shit on his former coaches, too?
Oh,
yes.
that's
Like, McDaniels walking back into Bill's lair.
Maybe it's different because it's an offensive guy, but he didn't beat Flores ever, right?
You're right.
The Dolphins have won several games.
Flores and Vrabel, I feel like, are the two.
I feel like that's a Dolphins thing. I feel like the Dolphins always beat.
They do.
England.
That's what I'm saying.
BS on them.
See, like, that's what I'm saying. You were hating on me hard as fuck.
I'm just hating on you and your little Steelers love.
Because it's like a known thing. Going into like Miami is weird. Like later in the year, it's hot. It's weird. Like there's certain spots it's weird to like.
I think
go
home
play
field
games.
advantage is a little overrated now. I mean, if your team.
So you're telling me that Arrowhead is not an advantage?
As a Saints fan,
And
home field
you're telling
advantage is
me-
overrated.
I think playoff.
That place is
playoff
always
experience-
rocking.
Yes, you're
You're
right.
telling me the Bills don't have home field advantage. You're telling me.
I'm saying it's overrated. It's not some 2-point, spread thing.
Markup,
If they're playing a home or away, the Chiefs are still going to be favored by the same points they would have been.
The weather has a factor. Like,
All right, is it going to snow? Do you know, Mr. Weatherman?
I'm just.
Is it going to snow?
I'm just saying it's cold. They're
They're fucking professional football teams. If you're cold, go cry about it. Get a hand
That's
warmer,
what
man.
happens. That's literally what happens. Like, bro, it's a real thing.
it.
Teams get cold.
Connor, I'm sorry. I'm more on Tyler's side
You're
with
so
this.
goofy for this. This is horrible.
I think
I'm
that
crying.
I
This
think
is
it's gotten
horrible.
eliminated more and more, but like there are certain stadiums in the NFL that are tough.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying you know what?
No, because that's horrible.
No, I'm not.
bro.
I don't think so at all.
No, I'm with Connor more than ever, especially as a Saints fan. Like, playoff is like literally like it hasn't mattered ever to me less than right now.
I think weather is more important. If it's cold as fuck,
Weather's fine, but just because they're at home doesn't really mean much.
I'm telling you right now, everyone in the league would hate going to play the Bills in January, freezing their dick off.
But you know what?
If you have
It's
an
the
indoor stadium,
4-8.
different.
It's the 4-8 Steelers, and all their fans
5
got to
and
come
8.
out fired up.
5-8.
Oh, let's go root for our 5-8 Steelers. Can't wait. I'm so hyped for them to play the 5-8
Pittsburgh
Raiders.
might be the one
That
place
is
where
so
that
bad.
is.
The Bears game is
It's the one
always
place.
popping, and they're 3-11.
That's because the Bears are Okay.
Stop. I'm pissed. Stop. No, that is so gross by you.
I have a question.
What was the question?
It was basically the Raiders turned around.
That is
but
so
something I want
bad.
to point out real quick.
This is the Clippy.
And you were trying to say that the Bears are a more historic franchise than the Steelers. Stop.
I was going there.
Yeah,
but-
so stop.
Okay, so
That
a lot
is
of people have been on the
ridiculous.
Vikings earlier this year for winning a lot of close score games. Like
Wait, can you repeat?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. This isn't a question. This is just a statement about the Raiders. A lot of people have been on the Vikings because they have won some really close games. They're not blowing out opponents, right? But I heard this point on PMT the other day, which is actually a good point. You are winning those close games, and that's when it matters. Like that's when it gets to that grind, that mental thing. The Raiders have only lost one game by more than one score, and that was at the beginning of the year. They've won 2 in OT out of their last 3, and then they beat the Chargers by 7. So they're now winning these close games that they were losing earlier in the year, which I think is damn near. It shows you a lot about them.
Well, last year, the last game of the season, like literally the last game of the season, they beat the Chargers in overtime to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I actually, say what you will about Carr, I think he's been pretty inconsistent this year.
Yeah.
Overall, I'd say he's been good, though. I absolutely trust him. Like with the game on the line, I do. I think he kind of has like a little bit of that it factor. If that's weird to say, I don't know. I like Carr a lot.
No, I mean, like, I don't think I've seen a QB, especially because of my fantasy team. So, like, I monitor it specifically every week. Like, it starts off so bad every week, and then he finds a way to just, like, turn around, like, 200 yards passing the second half. You're like, all right, you made it work. Like, first half, you were like, no touchdowns, 1 reception, 94 yards. You finish the day with 294, 2 touchdowns and 1 reception. Like, I'll take it. And that's like, it's every week, it feels like.
You could say the Raiders could have beat the Bengals last year in the playoffs. You could say that. They had a touchdown that shouldn't have been called.
Oh, the one where he's like out of bounds.
Shout out Rich Bisaccia.
Like
He snapped.
and
He snapped.
that brings it up for a different question. But
Okay.